Hello everyone, it's good to be with you again. I hope that you've been enjoying this sunny weather that we have been having. I hope that you've been out on your bike or on your skateboard, or perhaps you've been to the beach park. Or perhaps your favourite thing to do on a warm sunny day is just to sit on your favourite chair and have a daydream or two. Over the last few weeks, I have been telling you the story of Joseph the dreamer. And you'll remember that Joseph came from the land of Canaan, where he lived with his father Jacob and his 11 brothers. Joseph was Jacob's favourite, and Jacob had made for him a coat of many colours. And of course, this did not please his brothers. And things got worse when Joseph began to have these fantastic dreams that his brothers were bowing down to the ground in front of him. Of course, that didn't please his brothers either. And so one day his brothers sold him to be a slave in Egypt. And so he was carried off to Egypt to be a slave and then ended up in prison in Egypt. Things looked bad for Joseph. They couldn't have been any worse. But even through the days that he was a slave and in prison, Joseph worked hard and he never gave up hope that things would get better. Last week we heard that Joseph was able to explain the dreams of Pharaoh, and you'll remember that Pharaoh was the most important man in all of Egypt. And so Pharaoh awarded Joseph a top job. Soon, just as Joseph had said, a famine came upon the land and there was no food. But because Joseph had made plans to store food, the people in Egypt did not starve and were able to come and get food. Over in the land of Canaan, where Joseph's brothers and his father Jacob still lived, they had a famine too, and they were very hungry. This is where we join the story now. Just as Joseph had said, there were 7 years of good harvests in Egypt, and the grain was stored away. After 7 years, the storehouses were full to overflowing. But then the famine began, just as Joseph had warned. There was famine too in all the other countries surrounding Egypt, but in Egypt there was plenty of grain in the storehouses. Back in the land of Canaan, when Jacob heard that there was grain available in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Go and buy enough grain to keep us alive, otherwise we will surely starve." All the brothers left for Egypt, except the youngest brother, Benjamin. Jacob would not allow Benjamin to go in case something bad happened to him. When the 10 brothers arrived in Egypt to buy grain, they were told to report to the governor, as he was in charge of the grain supplies. Of course, they didn't know the governor was their brother Joseph. Joseph was shocked to see his brothers arriving. He recognised them, but they did not recognise him, now that he was no longer a boy, but a grown man. The 10 brothers bowed before Joseph with their faces to the ground. Joseph pretended not to know them. "Where are you from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan," they replied. "We have come to buy grain." Joseph said to them, "You haven't really come to buy food. You are spies." No, they insisted. "We have come to buy food. We have left our father and younger brother back in Canaan. If we don't go back and take grain for them, they will surely starve." Joseph was overjoyed to hear that his brother Benjamin and his father Jacob were still alive, but still he did not let his brothers know who he was. Joseph said, "Decide which one of you must bring your youngest brother here to Egypt." And Joseph put them all in prison for 3 days. After 3 days, Joseph said to them, "One of you must remain in prison. The rest of you can return to Canaan with the grain, but you must bring your youngest brother back to me to prove you are telling the truth." The brothers agreed. Simeon was chosen to stay in prison. Joseph ordered his servants to fill the brothers' sacks with grain and to give them food for the journey home. Joseph then told his servants to put the money the brothers had paid for the grain back at the top of each brother's sack of grain. And so the brothers set off for Canaan. When the brothers stopped for the night, they discovered the money in the tops of their sacks, and they were very puzzled. How had this happened, and what did it mean? When they got home, they told their father Jacob all that had happened, and that their brother Simeon was now in prison in Egypt, and that they had to go back and take their brother Benjamin to Egypt before Simeon would be set free. Jacob was very upset at this news. "My son Joseph is gone, and now Simeon is in prison, and you want to take Benjamin too?" Jacob said, "No, you cannot take Benjamin back to Egypt." But soon the grain they had bought in Egypt was almost gone, and Jacob said to his sons, "Go back to Egypt and buy more grain." One of the brothers said, "We will go back to Egypt, but we have to take Benjamin with us." Sadly, Jacob allowed Benjamin to go to Egypt with his other brothers, and they headed off to Egypt, taking Benjamin with them. Back in Egypt, Joseph was sure that his brothers would return, and so secretly he was overjoyed to see them, and saw that his brother Benjamin was with them. But he still did not tell them who he was. Simeon was released from prison and joined his brothers. They were told that they would have a feast with the governor at his palace. They introduced Benjamin to the governor, and as they ate together, they still did not know that this man was their brother Joseph. Joseph was so very happy to see Benjamin again. Just as the brothers were getting ready to leave, Joseph instructed his servant, "Put their money back in their sacks again, and put my silver cup at the top of the youngest brother's Benjamin's sack." The servant did as he was told. But after the brothers had left, Joseph ordered his servant to chase after them and stop them and ask them, "Why have you stolen my master's silver cup? Why have you been so wicked when he has been so good to you?" The brothers gasped in surprise as the silver cup was found in Benjamin's sack of grain, and they were all taken back to the palace. "What have you done?" demanded Joseph. The brothers were frightened and upset, and they bowed low to Joseph. How could they explain? They would be slaves and put in prison for the rest of their lives. But Joseph said to them, "Only the one who stole my cup will be my slave. The rest of you may go back to Canaan in peace." But one of the brothers begged Joseph, "Please, our father has already lost a son, our brother Joseph. We don't know what happened to him, but to lose another young son will break our father's heart." Joseph was so sad and could not keep it a secret any longer. He cried out to them, "I am Joseph. I am your brother. I am the brother you sold into slavery.
But I am not angry. God has been with me all of this time and sent me to Egypt so that your lives might be saved. Joseph hugged each of his brothers and told them, "Go back to Canaan and tell my father I am alive. There will be 5 more years of famine, so bring my father here to live with me." So the brothers went back to Canaan and told their father, "Joseph is alive." Jacob was stunned. He couldn't believe it. And so the whole family left Canaan and headed to Egypt. Jacob could hardly believe his eyes. Joseph was alive. And so Jacob and his 12 sons and their families lived happily in Egypt.
Wasn't that an amazing story? And what a great person Joseph turned out to be. Even when he was a slave and in prison, he never gave up hope that things would get better for him. And even though those brothers of his were so horrible to him, he was able to forgive them. Well, I hope that you enjoy the sunshine. And if you're going for a wee nap now, I hope that you have sweet dreams. Until I see you again, God bless.